I think it's safe to say that a lot of us were disappointed about this game when it released. We had such high hopes, it being a Black Ops game. Playing the alpha and the beta, I was excited for the full game to come out, only to be disappointed, and playing it and realizing that it is just the same thing. They added 2 multiplayer maps, and maybe like another 5 guns. But in reality, this game is just a paid beta in its state right now. At least until Season 1 comes out. But I mean, that's in another like week from now, and the game's already been out for almost a month now. Now, it's not completely Treyarch's fault. They completely inherited it from Sledgehammer, and that was Activision's fault. They wanted to make a quick buck. So, instead of maybe delaying it by a year and maybe giving Modern Warfare like a year 2 round of DLC, they said, nah, we're going to release it how it is to the public, and we're just going to fix it along the way. We're just going to patch everything up like a bandage. And you know what? Kind of bit them in the ass, if you ask me. You know, I can't deny that this game is fun. Actually, side note that the gameplay that you're seeing right now is a 70 kill game with the AUG. Don't judge me. The AUG is really fun to use, alright? And, you know, there's just so many things that could be fixed. A lot of things, little pet peeves that I have about the game. But I believe in about a month or two, which is probably Activision's plan in the first place, once they add more content, once they fix all the bugs, early glitches and stuff like that, I think this game will come out to be a little bit better than what it seems to be right now. Now, the biggest thing that I've been complaining about, and my Twitch chat knows, along with those that follow my TikTok, the biggest thing that I've had issues with this game is the fact that for 6v6, at least right now, including Nuketown, there's only 9 multiplayer maps. That's absurd. In the beta, we got 6 of those maps, and they only added 2 at launch, brand new experiences, and then Nuketown is remastered. You have to keep in mind that the Call of Duties that have released before, at this point in time, on launch day, will come out between like 12 to 16 maps. 8? 8 at launch? Like, why? This is why everyone is so bored of the game. This is why a lot of us are moving on already, because we've already played this stuff in the alpha and the beta for months now, at least in my own experience. I think if you didn't play the alpha or the beta, you're probably a little bit better off, and you're probably still entertained us slightly more, at least more than us that have played the alpha and everything like that. But I mean, that's just, damn. You know what the worst part is about only having 9 maps? Only like maybe 2 of them are good. If someone tells you that they like at least half of the maps, they're lying to you. They're lying to you because they're trying to convince themselves that this game is great because they spent $60. Probably 120 if you bought a better bundle, but no. The only enjoyable experience I'm really having right now is Nuketown. And as chaotic as Nuketown is, it is the only map right now that feels like a classic Treyarch Call of Duty experience. You can actually kind of tell that the rest of the maps were like Sledgehammer designed. Because I don't know if you guys have noticed by now, but Treyarch always has like these straight, symmetrical 3-lane maps, like totally amazing for like competitive play and casual play. The map actually feels fair no matter what side you're on, because although they're not always going to be entirely symmetrical, they at least both have like their own fair advantages and stuff like that. But Sledgehammer's and Infinity Ward's maps, I swear, feel so lopsided, and there's always one spawn that's completely better than the other, and people know this. Take a look back at the actual pictures of Infinity Ward maps and Treyarch maps, and you'll know what I'm talking about. And only Nuketown feels like that at this moment. You know what? Let me just say something nice to Cold War for a second after that complete roast session that I was just giving it, right? One thing that I will always credit Treyarch for over Infinity Ward, no matter what, are the graphics and sound design of this game. I've always loved how Treyarch did that because they focus on a more balanced game rather than realism. The game still looks nice. The game still looks great, although I will admit, obviously it doesn't look as realistic as Modern Warfare, so a lot of people are just going to say by default that it's a downgrade. But I love it. You know, I love that everything is super colorful. You know, it looks really good to the eyes and everything like that. Modern Warfare, although realistic, very gray and brown and green. But I mean, that's the decision that they decided to go with, hyper-realism, and that's totally okay. Everyone has their own opinion on that. I like this. To me, a video game is a video game. As long as it looks nice and clean and there's a lot of details, I mean, it still looks good to me. It looks like a mix of Black Ops 1 and Black Ops 2, and I can't complain about that. But that's more of a preference, that's more of an opinion. I know you guys are going to prefer the realism, but I do like also the sound design as well, because the Modern Warfare footsteps are like doom doom doom, like heavy fucking just barrels on the ground, you know. At least this one, I've always noticed that in the Treyarch games, the footsteps are a lot more precise, and if you're wearing a headset especially, you'll notice the difference. You'll know exactly where in a room a person is, and I think that's really important. I think that's a really good part of the game that they should keep, and something that Infinity Ward should learn. I think there's a really important game mechanic that a lot of people seem to overlook, or people don't really prioritize as much as other game decisions, is the 150 health. I'll tell you this, I was really disappointed to hear that 150 health is going to come back from Black Ops 4. If you ask me, I think Black Ops 4's time to kill was insanely long and should have never been that long in a Call of Duty ever. I think that's one of the biggest things that turned me off from the game. In Blackout it worked out fine, and in reality, if you look back at it, that's probably what it was designed for, because Blackout was their big selling point. It was their first time ever trying out a battle royale in Call of Duty ever. But I think the multiplayer really suffered from that, from a casual experience, and it's just, it felt like borderline Halo at times. Like, you could never get a double kill. You would never have enough ammo for it because the enemies would just eat bullets like crazy. I think this game would have been a lot more fun as a 100 health game, something a little bit more standard. I know that people don't really like the super fast time to kill of Modern Warfare, where like you can't even really turn around. And even Black Ops games that had 100 health, the time to kill was always somewhat slower. Treyarch was always good at finding that sweet spot, in my opinion. I will agree that it can be frustrating in Modern Warfare to die almost immediately, to get absolutely lasered. But I mean, they've done it before for years and years. I don't see why they needed to change it. I would prefer that it would go back to 100. I think that's one of the biggest things that would have changed this game so much. Because of course they balance the game to the health. And naturally it feels a little bit longer because it takes at least 1 to 2 extra shots to kill, as opposed to a 100 health game. I think the best comparison that you can make is this and Black Ops 1, because obviously they're most similar. Compare like a Commando, right? In this game, the XM4 would probably take, I don't know, a good 4 to 6 shots at best. Back in Black Ops 1, it was like a 3 to 5. And I know like a 1 bullet difference doesn't seem like a lot, but in a fast-paced game like this, where you die in like less than a second, it feels completely different and it changes the entire experience. Believe me. Black Ops 1 was my first game, so I know that shit like the back of my hand. You know what I mean? I think that's one thing that they could have totally changed the entire experience of the game. I think 150 health is overphased and should definitely not come back in any other Call of Duty games. I don't know how many of you guys are into the 150 over the 100, but just my 2 cents on that. I guess to conclude my final thoughts, there's a lot of things that I didn't cover and I probably don't have time for, that also I didn't really agree with. The score streak system is a little bit weird. The bugs and all the systems, I mean, those can be fixed. That's just typical Call of Duty. It just seems a little bit stronger this time around. But I mean, I do kind of understand a little bit. I do sympathize with Treyarch because they did have quite a bit of work to do with this game and releasing it with 5 different platforms in mind. But my biggest takeaway from everything, I think they should have just delayed this game an entire year. They should have let Modern Warfare play for 2 years because it was still popular. It's still popular right now. I'm still playing Warzone like on stream, TikTok, and I'm still pretty much enjoying it. It hasn't really gone stale yet. I feel like they could have let us play it for another year, add a completely new map for the year 2 content or whatever they had to do, and just delay this game. And either that, or since they already released it now, right? Since we already have this game in our hands, skip Call of Duty next year, right? So that way, there's a Modern Warfare experience and there's a Black Ops experience. And if you just leave those running for another year, I guarantee you players will be so much happier that their progress and everything will actually be worthwhile and not expire within 6 months. But those are my 2 cents. This is my second commentary on this channel. Make sure you guys follow my Twitch. I stream every single night at 12 a.m. Pacific time. Make sure to follow my TikTok. All my socials are spelled the exact same. And let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Make sure you guys like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and join me on my other socials. And other than that, talk to you guys later. And there's the 70 kills for proof. See you guys.